The nation of Islam is divided this day. It cannot endure half oppressor and half victim. I do not believe that it will fall, yet the nation of Islam must speak with one voice. Either the oppressor will overcome the victim and the world shall know unending pain without compromise, or the victim will overcome the oppressor, take control of their house, and speak true words of reconciliation with the world. The elephant in the room is that Muslim extremists are Muslim. This is not in debate. Extremists and terrorists freely admit this. It is an elephant because although the majority of Muslims are peaceful, they deny lineage with their brethren and use threats to silence those who point out the obvious truth. The nature of this divide is that the majority of Muslims seek to muzzle any who make this claim, creating the first barrier to solving the problem, denying that it is theirs. It must be admitted by the Muslim community at large that these extremists and terrorists are Muslim before any reasonable discourse can be had on the subject. While it is understandable that any faith would want to distance itself from the crimes of misguided brethren, it is a hindrance to progress. Religions are inherently intolerant of outside viewpoints. No religion is exempt from this bias. As such, any change within a religion must come from within. Yet that impetus, which is badly needed, is lacking in the Islamic community because they absolve themselves of the onus of change with the feeble excuse, they are not us, they are not Muslim. Whether or not they are Muslim, according to the majority, is irrelevant. They feel that they are Muslim, and they are using the same holy book. Furthermore, they are funded by power holders within your house and governments. These people are not evil because they are Muslim. They are evil because they do evil things. And because they do evil things, they must be opposed. They are people, just like Catholics, Buddhists, and atheists. And people are equally good and bad, no matter the denomination. Muslims just want to live, be happy, and contribute to the world just as any other person. I welcome this and them because I have faith that Muslims can overcome this doctrinal challenge. I have noted some similarities with the Islamic problem and another movement that once gripped this continent. I speak of the civil rights movement, where a similar situation threatened to rip apart the fabric of Western ideology. In that time, black people were oppressed by white people socially and institutionally. Though Lincoln had freed the slaves with the stroke of a pen, the nation was divided between those who supported the ideology and those who vehemently opposed it. The nation was divided, and a nation divided against itself cannot stand. The majority of whites were peaceful and had no problem with blacks, yet the institutions which existed had been shaped by another generation and were oppressive themselves. Just as Islamic institutions now were shaped by an older generation and currently systemically discriminate against non-Muslims and Muslims of any sect not agreeable to the institution, be it a government office, a place of worship, or a bakery. There were power holders within the white ranks who felt that they could not endure blacks as equals, or that they even deserved to be equals. Just as now, there are power holders in the Muslim ranks who cannot endure that whites or non-Muslims or Muslims of a sect not their own are deserving of the status of equals. The parallel I am drawing is that during the civil rights movement, the average white person was not inherently racist, just as the average Muslim is not inherently racist. Both peoples were shaped by an outdated and rigidly inflexible social system that has not kept up with changes in society. Just as the white moderate needed to speak up en masse to curtail the abuses of their minority extremist white brethren, so too must the Muslim moderate speak up en masse to curtail the abuses of their minority extremist Muslim brethren. During the time of the Reverend Martin Luther King Jr., it was unheard of for whites who committed a crime against a black to be found guilty because the system needed to be changed, and so too did the guard manning the post. What was needed was white people to not only change a corrupted system to ensure fair treatment for all, but also to be staffed by white people who believe in equality as well. So too must Muslims change their social system to ensure the fair treatment of Muslims and non-Muslims equally. But this change must also be done by Muslims, just as the white changes need to be done by whites. And those positions within the Islamic institutions must also be staffed by Muslims who believe in equality. The Islamic community faces one greater challenge than the white people I spoke of a moment ago. Those white people did not deny that the oppressors were white, and so the white moderate was able to take ownership of the problem and so condemn his white brethren. The Islamic community must first acknowledge that their Muslim brothers are their Muslim brothers, as any resolution starts first with the admission of the problem. A bullying child will never change his ways if the family denies his existence and ignores him. Muslims must take ownership of the problem in order to be empowered to condemn their Muslim brethren. I am aware that there are those of Islam who are already taking up this banner. It is now that I implore the Muslim moderate who may feel that their passive disagreement with extremism is enough. You are the moderate who must not sit passively by, but you must intervene and come out of the crowd against your misguided brothers and sisters. Now is the time for you to hold their hand and stop them from striking the anvil of hate with the hammer of Islam. The global community has written a check for equality, acceptance, and prosperity for all. This is for our generation, who values true equality regardless of color, creed, or belief system. Love, safety, and freedom should flow as milk and honey, but like milk and honey, take hard work to come to fruition. All who share the reward must also share the burden. Like a home, freedom must first be built before it can be lived in. Like a home, the foundation cannot be divided. It must be a unified whole, or the house will not stand. I call now on the Muslim moderate to stand up and be heard. The voice of your intolerant brethren is loud and has tainted the global community. Yet I have faith in you. Change must come from within, because change from without is tyranny. This will be a different world for both of us. I have faith in you and your faith. True freedom and prosperity can only come when the ideology of the land supports the necessary foundation of mutually agreed upon rights and freedoms. The check for equality, prosperity, and acceptance has bounced in the Bank of Islam, the tellers not being of honest moderate stock. I believe that the Bank of Islam, the largest bank in the world, has more than enough funds to avoid the check coming back marked insufficient funds. So I call on the Muslim moderate to take charge of your bank, oust the dishonest teller of extremist thought, proclaim to the world that you are our brothers and sisters. Show them that you are the honest, accepting people that I know in my heart you are, because I have faith. In order to share in the wealth of freedom, prosperity, and equality in the global community, you must share the burden of freedom and safety and all its costs. You must stand up for my rights and freedoms as I do yours. The prejudiced voices of your misguided cousins must be heard to be the minority it is. We must drown out the extremist message of hatred and intolerance with your message of love and acceptance. You must stand up against extremism and inequality in all its forms and fight for your human right to sleep safely in your bed, not to be held by military police for expressing an opinion against the state, to marry and love whomever you so choose. You must overcome those in your house who would hold you back from joining in global prosperity. When your house is in order, the world will welcome you with open arms. I await you at my table, Muslim brothers and sisters. I have faith in you.